Okay, what am I doing today? Well, I'm not fixing a machine today and I'm not rebuilding this motor today. What this is a spare motor board I picked up at a flea market, who knows how many years ago, with a motor, a turntable, and little bits and pieces still on it. And I am taking it apart because I have been asked by another collector for some speed control parts, namely that needle you see there and the little washer and the tiny nut that goes with it. His machine is an 11 and it is missing those. This motor board is off of, it's either a 9 or it's an 11. I'm not really sure which, because they kind of look the same thing. It's not a 10 because it does have 17-foot springs. There is a number 17 stamped on that barrel I saw earlier. And I thought that while I had this here, I would go over another question I received not too long ago about what to do if you have tension or you suspect there's tension on the springs in the barrel, but the turntable doesn't want to turn and you can't get the tension off, but you need to take the motor apart. Obviously, you can't rebuild it, clean it, and all of that until you take the motor apart. So this is what we're going to do. The motor's out. You can take the motor off without releasing the tension. And if it releases while you're taking it apart, it's just going to turn at normal turntable speeds. That's fine. I've propped it up a little bit here so that the barrel is not, oh, there he goes. I just knocked it off. So the barrel is not touching the table and interfering with anything. Now, we have the governor assembly, which is this right here. You see me talk about that before with the 3 weights and the little gear, the shaft, the disc. Right here, you have the friction leather. This is a part that needs frequent oiling, the friction leather. It's basically a brake. That's what it does. It brakes the speed of the motor to keep it at where you want, say a steady speed, say in our case 78 RPM. And it is adjusting by you open and close this. Now you see that governor's not turning, right? It's stuck, isn't it? Okay. Anyway, it attaches to an arm. The arm goes through the motor housing, comes out to this arm over here, and on this end it attaches to the speed control on the motor board, which can look like this one, which is, you know, for the glassine window with the little needle and all of that. Or it could be a simple knob. Either way, you know, they all do the same job. And what happens is you push down on this. This increases. See how it opens the friction leather up there so it's not quite touching the disc. Now what would happen is, say right here is your 78 setting. You set it here, and that corresponds with the spinning turntable E78. Is that brass disc will move outward to meet the friction leather. As those weights spin around, the centrifugal force, they spin around, they cause this part of the body to move inward until it's touching the friction leather, and then it rides the friction leather, and it's because there's oil. That's why you got to oil the friction leather. It rides that to break your speed to where you want it. Maybe it's 80 RPM, maybe it's 78, depends on the record you're playing. Whatever it is. But if you cannot get the motor to turn, then you're going to have to do this manually by hand. You're opening it now. See, but don't open it all the way here. Just a little bit. Right there's fine. Don't let it run away on you. Keep it right there, and then you just first off, see that bottle of Croil behind me there? Behind the motor? Okay, you're going to take that or similar, whatever penetrating oil you like to use. Spray down the hole, all the gears and the pivots and all the greasy spots, whatever. Spray it all down. And then you're going to just move the disc. Just spin it in whatever direction it wants to go. Whoop, there you go. Oh, I knocked it off again. All right, we're going to move the motor back a little bit like that so it's not touching the tabletop. The barrels aren't touching the tabletop, neither is the gear. And then we're going to, almost did it. You're going to just do that and see if it wants to do anything. Oh, look at that. There was tension on those springs after all. Even though you saw me playing with them, it didn't want to move. Now it is. Now watch how that friction leather meets the brass disc, and it kind of keeps control over the speed. It's riding right on there. That's your braking action. And now it is releasing the tension on the barrels. You may have to hold it this way for 10 minutes or however long it takes for the motor to run down, because you do not want to take a motor apart while it is under spring tension. You do that, you're going to damage something. It might be a gear, it might be yourself. So we don't want to do that. See the 17 coming up there? That means a 17-foot spring was originally in this barrel and should still be in there, I imagine. Don't take that as gospel, however, because plenty of people over the years fixed these motors by replacing them with whatever spring they happened to have. It could have been a 12-foot spring. If it worked, they used it. I've seen that. And myself, I have replaced 12-foot springs with 17-footers since they fit the same barrel. So why not? If I'm buying a new spring anyway, I might as well get the long one and get a little more power out of it. See how it's riding there? That's your braking action, just like in your car. Except there's only one brake shoe here, and we call it a friction leather. And that brass disc on the governor, that's like the rotor in your brakes. And you would continue doing this until the motor ran down and there was no more left. You'd manually try to turn the governor a few times. See how it's slowing down now? You try to turn the governor a few times just to make sure everything was out of it. And then you would disassemble the motor. See, it stopped. Let's see if it'll move any more. Let's see. No, I think it's probably lost all the tension it wants to lose. Let's just make sure. Yep. Okay, tension's out of it. Doesn't matter how many springs it has, 1, 2, 3, 4, or more. That's how you get the tension to come off. And you may have to spray this pretty good. Some of these motors, that see all that black gooky crap on there? That is 100-year-old grease that has turned to cement. And it's inside the barrel too, but there's nothing we can do about what's in there at the moment. All we can do is spray the main spindle shaft right there, especially the entire governor assembly. Maybe the pivots here, you know, where's my screwdriver? Maybe here and over here a little bit. Here you want to get the bearing all in there. Just spray everything up. Make a mess. Doesn't matter. You're going to clean the motor anyway. And get that tension off of it. But that's it. That's all you got to do. Okay. I think that's all I'm really going to go over today. Like I said, I'm not doing anything with this motor right now. This is just spare parts for some future project. Okay.